analysis.
How is the assessment made what child deserves to eat and what child doesn't?
Hey everyone, welcome back. So, you just watched a piece of that exchange. And let's be honest, it's exactly what we've come to expect from Representative Ilhan Omar and the rest of the squad, isn't it? It's all emotion, all heartstrings, and zero facts. She is a master at framing an argument in a way that makes the other person look like a villain. And what you're about to see is a full-on masterclass in political theater, trying to paint a good man, Mr. Russell Vought, who's simply trying to talk about the budget, as someone who supposedly wants to starve children. It's a completely bad faith argument from start to finish. We're going to watch the full clip right now. I want you to pay close attention. Don't just listen to her accusations. Listen to his actual answers. See if what she claims he's doing is what he's actually doing. And hey, if you're as tired of these political games as I am, and you just want the facts, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Let's get into the full clip.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Vaughn, for your testimony today. I wanted to talk a little bit about how your budget proposal is going to have impact on the millions of vulnerable children across this country. I wanted to tell you a little bit about the impact that I see that it will have, because I don't feel like you or this administration or Trump gets it. In America, 1 out of 5 children struggle with hunger. And for many of these children, the free lunch and breakfast that they get in school is often the only meal they get to have. Yet the budget that you're proposing, and this administration and Trump is proposing, makes a $1.7 billion cut from school meals over the next 10 years. A cut that largely would result in more than 29,000 children losing access to free school meals program in my home state of Minnesota alone. What this budget does is quite literally take food out of the mouths of children. How can these kids be expected to be present and fully present in classes, to learn in the same space as other kids? How can we expect them to reach their full potential? And how can we expect them to be able to be on the same footing as other kids around the world? I often say that budgets are a value statement, as you have many times in this committee. And you said that we are committed to having promises kept. What does this budget and your proposal in cutting the child nutrition programs say about the promises that we want to keep to children and where our values really are?
Thank you for the question, Congresswoman. We don't think that our budget cuts the programs that you refer to. Specifically, we think that it's important that high-income schools that are currently grouped together right now to receive benefits because they're grouped with low-income schools, that's unfair for the programs themselves. Similarly, some of the reductions that you've talked about are with regard to one-time rescissions that are not needed to be able to cover all of the children that we currently project. And we know Congress does the same analysis.
Yeah. How is the assessment made what child deserves to eat and what child doesn't? My understanding is that we should care about every single child arriving in that school, having the resources that they need to be able to get educated and be fully present. We have parents who might fall off the threshold of whatever that income is, who might not be able to pack a lunch or a breakfast or milk or a cookie or an apple for their kids. Should those kids not be able to have meals in the school so that they can be fully present in that classroom? Is that what this administration values?
We believe it's important that communities that are otherwise ineligible to receive these types of benefits not receive these benefits, and that only the communities that are eligible receive them.
But how is the judgment of what the value of the benefits is made? We are talking about children in our classrooms. We are talking about America's most vulnerable. Earlier, you talked about the harvest box. You said if they are not home, that they should pay a price.
No, I didn't say that.
That was the example you used, that if you're not home, then you pay a fee.
No.
So what penalty would you think should We propose for people who might not be home to receive juice or cereal box or a canned meat.
I specifically was not referring to suggesting that they should pay a penalty. The point I was making, Congresswoman, is that we don't think that it matters where you are on the income scale to be able to determine a certain level of responsibility to receive in the mail that which you are expecting to receive in the mail. We think that human beings are responsible from that standpoint.
I get that.
Wow. Okay. Just wow. Let's break this down because that was a lot. Right out of the gate, she drops the ultimate emotional nuke. What this budget does is take food out of the mouths of children. This is the playbook. They don't want to debate policy. They want to frame you as a moral monster so they never have to deal with your facts. She says, I don't feel like you or this administration or Trump gets it. Oh no, I think Mr. Vaught and President Donald Trump get it perfectly. What they understand is that you cannot run an open-ended, rule-free piggy bank forever. And she absolutely hates that. So she tosses out this claim about a $1.7 billion cut. And what does Mr. Vaught do? He immediately corrects her. He says, we don't think that our budget cuts the programs. He tries to explain what's actually happening. He points out that the change deals with high-income schools, wealthy schools, currently lumped in with low-income schools and receiving benefits they're not entitled to. He's trying to stop waste, fraud, and abuse. He's trying to make the program fair. He is not cutting anything. He's fixing a loophole so the money goes to the actual poor kids who need it. He literally says it's unfair for rich schools to be in the program. He's talking about eligibility. And what does she do? She ignores every word. She doesn't debate the eligibility of high-income schools. No, she just doubles down on emotion. She drops that loaded, disgusting question. How is the assessment made of what child deserves to eat and what child doesn't? What a question. What a slimy, bad faith way to argue. He is not saying some kids deserve to eat and others don't. He's the acting budget director. He's talking about rules and numbers, but she has to twist it into a cartoon villain narrative, as if he's sitting in a dark room deciding which 8-year-old gets a sandwich and which one starves. It's political theater, and it's gross. And did you catch that pivot? When she isn't getting the answer she wants, she suddenly brings up the harvest box idea and flat out accuses him of saying that if people aren't home, they should pay a fee. He has to stop her. He literally says, no, I didn't say that. He has to correct her on the spot because she's making things up to fit her narrative. He explains he was talking about a basic level of responsibility. Picking up a package you know is coming in the mail. That's it. Not penalties, not fees. But she just steamrolls right over him. Through this entire 5-minute attack, Mr. Vaught stays calm. He's polite. He keeps trying to talk about actual policy. He's the adult in the room. And she closes by dragging in the defense budget. Another classic trick. We can afford this, but not that. She's comparing apples to battleships. The number one job of the federal government is to protect its citizens. But for the squad, the number one job is giving away free stuff with no rules, no accountability, and no common sense. This exchange says everything. It's the perfect snapshot of Washington today. One side, the Trump administration, talking about fiscal responsibility, fixing loopholes, and making sure money goes where it's supposed to go. The other side, the squad, grandstanding, twisting words, and accusing people of starving children on national TV. Mr. Vaught handled himself incredibly well. He didn't take the bait, and he stuck to the facts. What did you think? Was she out of line with that deserves to eat question? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.